welcome to Paint It Haint. I am your host, Adri Hayes. Tonight, because I had to wait till tonight because good lord, it's so hot and it's still hot. We're gonna be all natural, as you can see, natural hair, no makeup, this very comfortable Star Wars shirt that you can't see. It's so comfortable. But tonight, we're going to get into the Werehyena. And again, this is a cryptid that I did not know about being an American. And it was interesting to come across this because I was like, oh, I'm going to have to research and see what this is about. So let's get into it. So the Werehyena comes from the Horn of Africa. And this is a shape shifting creature that has, or is born rather, as a human, or they can disguise themselves as a human. So it depends. I guess it depends on where you're from as to what the story is. They're known to appear very hairy and have red eyes. So that's one of the first things that I learned when I researched this. Now, in Angola and the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Kimbundu and Bakongo people believe hyenas can exist as spirits of the dead or deceptive evil spirits. And these evil spirits are called Kishi, or spirit with two faces. And usually the spirit of two faces is a man. So it's said that the hyena will appear as a handsome man and he will lure a woman basically to her death. So he lures the woman through his charms and his good looks, and he reveals himself, and then he devours her. So that's from the Angola and the Democratic Republic of Congo. That's their legend. Now in Ethiopia, it gets a little offensive. I'm gonna warn you. I'm laughing because I'm slightly uncomfortable because I was like, wow, that took a turn for the messed up. But in Ethiopia, the people who are said to be hyenas are Jewish people of the Jewish faith. Um, and it's always tied to blacksmiths because blacksmiths were like a traditional profession of Jewish men. They're also said to rob graves at midnight, and they refer to them as, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, the Buddha or the Buddha. And you also see this belief in Sudan, Tanzania, and Morocco. And as far as the anti-Semitism, let's call it what it is, um, it comes from Ethiopian Christians who hold the belief that Ethiopian Jewish people unearth Christian corpses and consume them. Like I even read a story on, I think that was Atlas Obscura, where this woman was warning her children, hey, don't play near the blacksmith shop. Or she would ask, did you play near the blacksmiths? Because you know what will happen if you play near there. So this belief, that I think that article came from 2020 or somewhere in that era. So that belief, for some, I'm not gonna paint Ethiopians with a wide brush and be like, yeah, they're all like that. That's with some people in that country, and it's usually, from what I can understand, this story came from a area that was rural, and so it has kind of that tie to the traditional werewolf, where you know watching the Wolf Man, they were in Transylvania, and they were in a rural area, and it's giving that flavor. So an African version of that with a healthy sprinkling of anti-Semitism, unfortunately. So that's where it got real. That's where I was like, oof. But now we move on to the country of Chad. So in the Lake Chad region, where hyenas are referred to as Bultunjin, which translates in the Kanuri language to I changed myself into a hyena. And there's even a belief that whole villages contain were hyenas. So the people that live there are Werehyenas, and those people are called Ningadza. So that's like their thing. Now in Somalia, the legend of Kori Ismaris, or this translates to one who rubs himself with a stick. This story tells of a man who could transform himself into a hyena by literally rubbing himself with a magic stick at night. And to change back into human, he would repeat the process at dawn. So again, there's a little touch of the full moon aspect, but in the place of the full moon, there's a stick. In Mali, so back in West Africa, the Kore cult of the Bambara people will perform a ritual where they become hyenas by imitating the animal's behavior through masks and role play. And the ritual is said to be used to place fear into participants, leading them to avoid such habits of the hyena. Because hyenas are quite possibly the most terrifying animal that I have ever looked up. Like I knew a little bit about them. I know they have the like creepy laugh call thing that they do, but beyond that, it's rough. I was reminded actually of this watching Bizarre Foods of all shows. Chef Zimmerman had gone to Africa. And they were talking about how dangerous hyenas are and how they are said to like basically kidnap children are the most vulnerable. And then I also read in Britannica that hyenas can also not only are they're going to attack the vulnerable, they attack even the strong people in the village. Anything, it's like anything to get food in their stomach. And there's some more about that. So like they're a very very unnerving animal. The reason I think the Werehyena is so prevalent or like is such or is a thing is because they're dangerous to humans, like I was saying, very much like wolves are in, in European slash American culture slash pop culture. So they're known to be hyenas are known to be very intelligent creatures who are described to be opportunistic hunters. They will burglarize food stores, steal livestock, and consume waste. And that last one, consume waste, kind of takes me back to that ritual that they do in West Africa, because it's teaching people not to be the lowest of the low or the worst of the worst, because if you're consuming waste, refuse, or even like human, then it's like, ew, like I don't, ugh, or I don't think that's a literal thing. I think it's more so of a figurative, like you don't be the hyena of the group, don't be gross and like uncivilized is what it comes down to. They're even known, as I was saying earlier, to terrorize whole villages. Usually the children are the ones who are carried off, but again, anybody. But anyways, also from my research, I've gleaned that hyenas are very much like humans. So this is another thing. They're very intelligent. It's creepy. They're more intelligent than humans. Research has been done, and they are more intelligent than humans as a whole. They could take over. Like we don't need no more conspiracy theories out here, but I really believe a hyena could take over. But they're so close to us that they are said to be able to think strategically and even problem solve. They're known to form alliances within their clan and even recognize certain individuals with the clan. Now, also, men, you're not gonna like some of you men are not gonna like this. Their society is matriarchal, which now makes sense. I'm having like all these connections now. Watching The Lion King, remember Whoopi Goldberg was the main hyena. Shout out to The Lion King. She was actually my favorite character in that movie because those hyenas were so funny. But anyways, In conclusion, so like in my conclusion of research and all this, this leads me to believe that people fear these hyenas not only because of the havoc that they can cause, but also because they embody some of our, or rather, we embody some of their some of us can embody some of their qualities, which is terrifying, right? Of course, the other part of it is that they're othering people who are different. So extremely hairy people, red-eyed people, um, people of different religious backgrounds than you. That's the other part of it, as far as like the Werehyena. It's like, once again, thinking about the werewolf, who is always getting turned into a wolf? Or, well, okay, this is coming from Van Helsing, but the one that got turned to the wolf was the Romani guy. Think about it. And then think about like how in Ethiopian culture they, basically blame the Jewish people or not blame the Jewish, but put were hyenas on Jewish people because they're different from their Christian population. And they have different traditions, and it's which is crazy because Judeo-Christian, but this ain't that kind of podcast or this kind of YouTube channel. But there's also an echo of don't trust everybody you meet in the legend of the Werehyena. So the handsome, good-looking man, don't trust him. He's too good-looking. And they also say that in some of these other countries, in these rural areas, if you're a stranger and they don't know you, they'll be like, I don't know that person, and God forbid you're weird looking. That's a Werehyena. like they don't know you, so they're not gonna fool with you. Um, but yeah, like there's a bunch of correlations that I find interesting between the werewolf of American and European pop culture and the Werehyena in pop culture, or not pop culture, but in the African diaspora, and I would actually say the American diaspora, since I'm kind of bringing it up. And I'm kind of interested to know if there are any movies that talk about the Werehyena, um, like we have our werewolf movies. I'm gonna have to like do some Nollywood or like look at some African movies, because I did go one October. I found just a cache of African horror movies, and the stories, I will say the stories were good. The acting was a little off, but other than that, like I appreciated it because it was so different from what I would normally traditionally watch during October. So in October, and I'll probably start doing this for the next Black History months, I'm gonna like put in some like scary, um, like African movies from the continent, from the mommy land that y'all can enjoy. So that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next Painted Haint. Hopefully it will not be the temperature of the sun. um and we can sit here and have a cozy episode versus a boiling lava hot, oh my god, episode. So I will be taking a 2-week break, and then I'm going to get into something really close to home. Um, Actually, two things. So one close to home, and another one is like relatively close to home. So the first one we're going to talk about, because I cannot keep a secret, is the ghost of McDonough, Georgia. I had no idea McDonough was haunted. I really didn't. And I think it deals with this particular creek that I've crossed, I would say all across Atlanta, or unless we have just 8 million different Camp Creeks, like we have 8 million different Peachtrees, 8 million different Flat Shoals, like that's a local thing. The other thing we're going to talk about is one that I recently discovered yesterday while I was out with my mom and my cousin up in North Georgia near Dahlonega. And that is the ghost town. I mean, it's not like a town full of ghosts, but the ghost town, the ghost boom town of Auraria, Georgia. Like I saw this little thing on the, like, plaque on the side of the road, and I was like, what's that about? So I looked it up. So we're not gonna talk about ghosts in that one because the McDonough one will probably freak you out enough. We're just gonna talk about this interesting little town that used to exist and then didn't because of the gold rush. Yeah, if you don't know, Georgia has gold. In fact, our dome in the Capitol here in Atlanta is made of that gold from Dahlonega. Good Georgia gold. So I will see you then. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know if you've heard of the Werehyena and what that's about. Like, have you, if you're from the Horn of Africa or from Africa in general, I mean, is it just the Horn of Africa or does it go all across the continent as far as this cryptid? So I will see you later. Bye.